Hi guys, Jason here from HCR. Today I'm going to be talking about storing your classic car. And as anybody knows, storing a classic car in Ireland can be a massive pain in the ass. Ireland is wet all year round. Um, there's just so much moisture, even in the summertime. Stuff is damp in the summertime, so it's definitely is a big pain to store your car and keep it from corroding. It's a constant battle in Ireland. So probably I'll go through a few steps. First thing would be make sure have your car really clean and really dry before storing it. There's a couple of different things that you can do to preserve it, especially underneath. There's different types of temporary wax that you can spray on the vehicle, spray in around the engine bay, spray underneath, etc. That's going to keep superficial rust off the most exposed components like nuts and bolts and stuff that hasn't much of a coating on them that you'd probably see superficial rust coming on quicker. Uh, that is a great help. Another thing as well, to always make sure that you have a full tank of fuel. You get different fuel additives as well for a car that's sitting up. Depends how long you're going to have the car parked. But why should you have a full tank of fuel? Well, simple reason is if you have a full tank of fuel, you have less room for condensation, and condensation creates corrosion. Corrosion creates rust and rot, etc. So loads of problems down the line if that happens. If you've half a tank of fuel, you're going to have from where it's filled on up is going to be condensation all the time. That in turn is going to dilute your petrol as well, and your car is going to run like crap. So make sure and have a full tank of fuel. That's a must for storing a car for any length at all. And again, look into the additive as well. It's no harm having an additive in it too. What else? Yeah, car clean, dry, etc. Going in, wax coating on it. When you're putting it into a shed, if your shed has a concrete floor, which most sheds will have, make sure that you have some sort of barrier between the floor and your car. Concrete is like a massive sponge. Concrete's porous. Concrete sucks in damp and moisture. At some stage, then that damp and moisture is going to evaporate and release, and that's going to evaporate up the way and onto the underside of your car. So I've seen different people put carpet down, stuff like that. No good. Waste of time. Carpet again is another big sponge that's just going to hold even more moisture. I would use plastic sheet, some sort of heavy gauge plastic. You'll get rolls of it relatively inexpensive in the local hardware. Really, really good job. Again, it would surprise you the amount of damp that comes up out of the ground. Um, that's another one. Damp inside the car. Damp inside the car is a big problem. You probably noticed different times you would see moldy stuff inside in your car after it's been stored for a while. This can be two different reasons. One can be that your car was already damp before storage. Most older cars, the seals around the windows, seals around doors, etc., do let in a bit. So, handiest way to see what that's like before you store the car, check your carpets. Just put your hand on the carpet. Um, Moisture always goes to the lowest point, so it'll probably be on the floor. If your carpets are damp, don't put your car in without having it dry. Secondly, is if you're storing your car in a damp shed, then the car is just going to be damp all around. Moisture traps, get them in your local hardware as well. Great job, relatively inexpensive as well. Put them sitting in the car, they'll suck up any moisture, they'll hold it in a wee trap at the bottom, dump it every now and again. They're pretty much like a non-mechanical dehumidifier. Uh, Dehumidifier is another thing. Don't be tempted to leave a dehumidifier going inside in your car. Uh, Two different reasons. One, it could short out, go on fire. You're going to burn your car, you're going to burn your shed. Secondly, is it dries stuff out way too much. It's very sore on rubbers, especially on vinyl. So if you have any vinyl on your car, it tends to dry it out big time, and then it can crack and perish, and you don't want that. Um, Storing a car in a damp shed. Look, at it's not ideal, but as I said, take those steps, and that's going to be a help. If you have a really damp shed that's pretty much damp all the time, all year round, leave your car outside. It's a waste of time putting it in. You're probably accelerating the corrosion process by putting it into a really damp shed. So unfortunately, if you have one of them, don't even bother. Just don't bother. Ideally, we want to be storing our cars in an insulated, heated shed. But look, realistically, not too many of us can afford a heated, insulated shed. Um, Probably best case would be if you could have some sort of insulation in the shed. Um, where it be if you just even have the walls insulated. Loads of people are using steel structure sheds with a single skin sheeting on it. Not ideal, not ideal at all. Those can be very damp. Um, you can insulate them. You can actually buy the sheeting insulated. Obviously, that's more cost again. Um, Again, it's all down to money. Unfortunately. Uh, your normal block shed, if you have a block shed built that it is two leaves of blocks, basically one beside each other like that, insulated in the middle. Apart from a heated shed, that's the next best thing. They tend to be really good. We've looked at various different classic cars that have been stored in those kind of sheds, and really good. You probably going to be the best idea. Um, The other option is, and any of you that know me know that I'm a bit wary about these, a bit kind of apprehensive about them. Carcoons or a bubble or an air capsule, different people have different names on them. Pretty much a big plastic bag to put your car into. These come in various different options. You have them actually like a big plastic bag. Put your car into it, switch the wee motor on, it circulates air all around it, blows it up. If I was buying one, I'd buy the one with the frame. It's a lot easier to use. You have the frame up, it's up all the time. You just drive your car in, zip it up, and away you go. Again, if you have one of these in a really damp shed, waste of time. You might as well not have it, because that's taking in damp air. There's a little motor on the side of it that's going to draw in all the damp air, circulate all around your car. Look, at in theory, the way these work is that circulates air around your car the whole time. And they say that once that air's moving, damp can't settle on your car. That's okay. But again, I don't think these were tested in Ireland. um, Ireland, as you know, is really damp all the time. Um, I would say if you're in a really damp shed, a carcoon isn't going to be much addition to you. If you're in a shed that has a small bit of damp in it every now and again, look, at a carcoon's probably going to be a good enough job. People have asked me before, what about putting a dehumidifier in a carcoon? Again, wouldn't advise it. It's just there's too much to go wrong, and it dries everything out too much. If you have a fairly big shed and you have a dehumidifier going in the shed and you have a carcoon in the shed going, that probably might be a good enough compromise. Again, depends how sealed up the shed is. If the shed's not that sealed up, then the dehumidifier is trying to dry the whole world outside. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a pain in the ass trying to store your car in Ireland, but those are some of the points. Hopefully, that maybe helps a few of you out. If you need to know anything more, or if there's anything that I have missed, just drop a comment. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, TikTok as well. So don't be afraid to comment or drop us a wee message. We may do a follow-on video to this. I'm sure I've missed loads of stuff. I'm sure there's questions that people wanted to know that haven't been answered in this. But Yeah, that's pretty much it. Give us a wee like and a share on all the social media platforms. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and we'll be back with more soon.